Mr. G, we're at Memorial High School, and today we're learning about the shrinker. Okay, come on in. All right, so let's say you're gonna put a bead roll in a panel. What ends up happening here in my class, I don't know what happens at other shops, but when you press down, can the camera see that? Let me put it over here. When you press down, it's no longer flat. Okay, take a look from the side. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the reason that happens, as far as I can tell, is that when you put a bead in the steel or aluminum, it's just like clothing. You're pulling material. But if you look here, now you have extra. And over here, you have extra as well. Just making a video. Okay? So, what are you going to do, right? So, you're going to have to shrink over here and take up material. So, what is a shrinker and how does that work? I've got a couple experiments set up, and we're going to go use some scrap metal to show you what that is. So, come on over here. Okay. All right, so this is the shrinker, okay? This one's made by Lancaster. It's an American-made product. There's a lot of copies. You can get them at Harbor Freight for very cheap, but I'm not sure how long they'll last. The important part about it is not so much the body, but the jaws itself. They're made from hardened steel. Now, what happens is that it grabs the metal and pushes it together, right? So let's take a look right here. Can you focus in there? Okay. It comes down, and once it grabs it, it pushes it together like that. So it comes in, grabs the metal like that, right? Okay. So now what does that do? So what I did was these are measured. These marks are 1 inch apart. So I'm going to grab it, I'm going to shrink it, and then we're going to remeasure it, okay? Let me just make sure that it's, there you go. Okay. So here we go, here's one. Okay, that's one. And we'll do like 2 or 3, all in the same area. Okay, it's starting to turn it a little bit, but I want to make it even. So what it should be doing is it should actually make the steel thicker, but now shorter. So let's go measure that. Actually, it's got a kink in it. Hold on. One second. And let me do this one. Okay, let's go check it out. Okay, so between there and there should be 2 inches, but you could see even now it has a little bit of a bend, but even with the bend, it's significantly shorter. Does that show up in the camera? There is a kink in it though, I will admit that. But if it was, but that's a 1/4 inch shorter. So now this is actually thicker. All right, that's experiment 1. Let's take a look at experiment 2. If you fold a piece of steel, right, you put a bend in it, and then you put it here. Right now, you'll see this is a ruler, and it is straight, all sides. Okay, but if I put it in the shrinker, what do you think is going to happen? It is now starting to turn it. And that's just a few shrinks, maybe 4 or 5 shrinks. Look at the amount of turn that has now. So the amazing amount of shrinks go on, right? The last part of the experiment involves the actual piece that had the problem in the first place. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrink in this area. I'm going to try and distribute the shrinks. Okay, and now let's look at see if we got it flat. See, now there's a lot less material compared to the other side where it's pressed up like that. If I hold down the other side, look at that. This side, I'm holding down the other side, but it's from the middle, to be fair. So it's a lot less. And you can finish that out. Now there seems to be some extra here as well. So let's take that into account. Okay, let's take a look. So now the part is a lot flatter. This is the if you hold in the middle, this part here raises up. If you hold in the middle, this part's flat. And that's because I had a shrink here, and it's exactly what the paper predicted. When you do this, what happens is you get movement here and movement here. All right, that's basically it. I'm Mr. G, Memorial High School, and that's how to use the shrinker to reduce the amount of extra material you have. There's also the opposite, which is a stretcher. You can do that by hammering, or there's actually a stretcher machine which grabs it and pulls it apart. That'll be in a different video. All right, thanks for tuning in. Hope that helped. See you later.